don't care how long Jada and Will have been separated, Chris Rock still needed to be slapped. And that's on period.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? Let's talk about the recent revelations and things we have learned from Jada from her book tour. She is on tour to talk about and discuss her book. And in the book, some things have been revealed that her and Will Smith have been separated since 2016. And that also Chris Rock asked her out on a date prior to the infamous slap. Now, all of these things are starting to make sense. A lot of us have already, like, hey girl, we already knew something wasn't. Like, thank you for the confirmation. Other folks are just like, girl, we're tired of hearing about this arrangement, this entanglement, all of the things. We are bored. Talk about something else. Get somebody else to do it. I'm not addressing this crowd. And you know what? I feel both sides, to be honest, because I am a little bit, girl, heard it all before. Girl, like, we knew something was up. We didn't want to say it until it was confirmed because we do not know their relationship. Like, everybody's relationship is different. Some people do different things. Different stuff works for different folks. And we just try our best to respect it. But these are celebrities. A lot of us are nosy and they make money off of selling themselves, which is why Jada is on this book tour, selling herself to make people interested in buying and purchasing this book and being interested in her life. So, girl, get your dollar, make your money, sister, don't let it make you. Now, I have a couple of thoughts about this whole ordeal. I've watched the interview and paid attention to it. I don't plan on reading the book. I just never have read any book like this before. It just doesn't do anything, girl, for me. If I wanted some messiness like this, I would just go back and read Skyscraper. Y'all know, if you know, you know. But like I said, it's revealed that they have been separated for a while. If there's anything that I'm learning from this, from this story and hearing that they've been separated for years, is that a lot of people are in situations like this, but they have to continuously perform cis hetero patriarchy. We have to be in a relationship, we have to be in a marriage, we have to project that we are the picture perfect family. We might tweak it a little bit and say that our relationship is different, but the cracks have been showing, and that a lot of people, I feel like, can relate. I think a lot of marriages can relate to this story, is that it's financially good for us. It's financially beneficial for both of us to remain in this relationship and this partnership, even though we are not committed. Now, we can have conversations about everybody's relationship being different. Like I said, like, some people are in marriages where the marriage is open, and that is not to them disrespectful, or that's not something that goes against marriage for them or their contract with each other. And I feel like Jada and Will have tweaked it as much as they could, and while still also benefiting from the idea that they are married and that they are together and that they whatever. And I talked about this a couple of years ago when it first was, was out. The whole situation with August Alsina. I lost respect for Jada because August Alsina was way younger than her, and he was also a friend of the family, and he was going through a lot of health issues. He was down bad. To me, that imbalance of power is something that I'm like, Jada, girl, yes, if you want to get your thing or you want to do your stuff, that's fine, but considering this is somebody who's supposed to be the friend of the family, somebody who is y'all supposed to be helping, and then you fell into an entanglement, it's just not healthy. It's just not healthy. But so now we are finding out that Chris Rock has made a pass at Jada before the slap. Now, that doesn't surprise me. We have talked about how men do not take rejection well. We have discussed several times how men have unalived women after being rejected. So even though Chris Rock did not do that type of harm, he did another version of it. He tried to poke fun of her in front of her peers. And I don't blame Will Smith at all for getting up there and slapping him. I don't. Now, Jada has said that she thought the whole thing was a skit. A lot of us thought it was a skit too. I was like, oh, this can't be real. This was dead serious. Because Chris Rock is a walking skit for white folks, to be honest. He talks in this very particular type of way. Like, watching Chris Rock speak, if you go back and watch a lot of the, the movies and stuff back, like years, where they would have black folks play a certain type of character, even me going back and watching Star Wars, The Clone Wars, even Jar Jar Binks, the racist characterization of black folks, I don't care what nobody say. There is so much racism in Jar Jar Binks' character. That type of dialect and that type of tone is what makes white people laugh. They love that type of stuff. If you go back and look at the comedies, even with white people dressing up as black folks, they do this specific type of dialect to emulate how black people speak. Like, we're ignorant, we're dumb, and all that other stuff, and it's very funny to them. And Chris Rock, like, that's just him, period. That's him 24/7. So he was playing it up and dragging and making jokes about Jada being bald head and all that other stuff. I don't blame Will Smith from coming up there and slapping him. I don't. And seeing people's reaction, especially men have been blaming Jada for this for the longest. Jada around here sleeping with August Alsina, and now Will's career's on the line because he did that. Will Smith went up there and did that for himself. He did that for himself. I don't blame him for doing it. I don't think it should be any type of for what he did. But seeing how men are reacting and how they see relationships and how they only respect women when it is only in ownership, it's telling. Like, it was telling. It's telling because Will Smith has done some stuff. I mean, they have kind of alluded that Will Smith has done some stuff. Jada has forgiven him. Jada has also done some stuff. But it is Jada's fault that Will Smith went up there and slapped this man. Will Smith is a grown-ass man. He has been lightly tap dancing for years, making himself palatable for white folks, for white audiences. Not as bad as Chris Rock, but Will Smith knows how to play the game. So the blame should be completely on Will Smith. He's a grown man that made that decision. Now, Jada said she didn't know. She thought it was a skit. She wasn't sure until she found out later on. And all this stuff was happening because even when we was watching it, it's just like, is this real? Is this really going on? I remember I was on the phone with my mom. I was like, this can't be real. This has to be a skit. And come to find out, it was not a skit. Now, Jada is sharing that, when Chris Rock found out that her and Will Smith split, he tried to ask her out. And, we know that that didn't happen. I'm pretty sure Chris Rock and his insecurities, like men do when they get rejected, he took this moment to embarrass her. And it's disgusting. So I'm 100% with him being slapped. I wouldn't take it back. I'm glad that Will Smith done it. Somebody should have been slapped Chris Rock for a minute. And he's had a history of doing this to Jada for a while. And it tells you why, men will beat up on women, want them, and just why you don't want me? Girl, are you serious? But like I said, it was just interesting following the conversation online and seeing how men were moving from Jada cheated and she was doing this and Will Smith put himself in harm's way. No, Will Smith, him slapping her wasn't to me even about protection. I still don't see it as a version of protection. I don't. For me, the protection has to be where you don't benefit from it. You do not benefit from the protection. That is the ultimate protection when we talk about protecting black women. Because you cannot do it in those smooth type of ways. So, oh, look, I just protected you. Now you owe me something. Or now I'm being rewarded for protecting my woman, my property, or all that other stuff. It needs to be because you care. And because you care genuinely. That's it. Now, Will Smith, hasn't, to my knowledge, went in depth about the whole thing. And why he did it. To me, it's been very surface in the conversations. I honestly don't even care. But the famous keep my wife's name out your mouth, emphasis on my wife, period. Keep Jada's name out your mouth, period. Very two different things, my wife. Girl, we really have a lot of work to do when it comes to ownership and relationships and stuff, because I'm seeing some stuff that's having me with a lot of questions on how people think about relationships and what they think a relationship is. I have, for me, my last relationship being in 2021, I have learned a lot, and I've done a lot of therapy since then, and it just made me look at some of the things that I was doing that was very unhealthy, that I do not want to do again, that I do not want to experience again. And now I'm seeing relationships and just like, ooh. A lot of the things I'm seeing, it just gives very much ownership. How we talk about our partners and how we interact with our partners on certain things, it's just heavy on ownership. And I just do not believe in owning a person. A person is their own individual. But Chris Rock deserved to be slapped. Period. I don't take that back at all. Like, I think he deserved to be slapped. But I think it's very interesting seeing how men are responding to Jada, and with this new information. It's just like, oh, well, Will Smith did this for nothing because they wasn't even together, but they're still legally married. They're still legally married, and that is the mother of his kids. Like, so it's just like, you don't believe in protecting your partner if y'all are not together, like y'all separated. So it's just only beneficial for you protecting them when you are romantically involved with them, meaning that y'all are sexually involved and the ownership is at its peak. That's what it's giving for a lot of men. Girl, these divorce rates are not going down. And a lot of the relationships that are staying is because of financial shit. A lot of people are staying in relationships because of finances. And in Will and Jada's situation, it's beneficial for them because they get to parade themselves as the happy, married, power, black couple. And for Will and Jada, it's a different thing because they get to benefit from parading themselves as the perfect couple, the perfect black family, and all the other stuff. I was listening to one interview, and the question was asked of Jada, why now? Like, what changed? Because we've always seen you as a straight talker. I don't think we can give Jada a straight talker. I think it was very performative. And a lot of folks, saw it. A lot of folks saw it, and, this is not straight talking. Y'all been separated since 2016, and even during an interview of Watch What Happens Live, they asked her, how do you keep the relationship, the marriage spice after y'all been together for so long? She couldn't answer the question. Mentally, she was exhausted. She was exhausted keeping up this performance. And it's almost exhausting as some of these folks who are working 24/7, trying to make sure that their partner is not cheating on them. Like, it becomes exhausting, and I do not want to work anymore like that. Like, yes, relationships are work, but it should be some work that you enjoy. And a lot of folks are not enjoying the work that they're doing in relationships. I've heard stories, and I've seen some folks who have been in relationships and are truly unhappy, in marriages that they are truly unhappy, but they are terrified of the idea of people knowing that they were unhappy. So I remember this discussion on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and someone asked a very, very, very good question. They asked, why don't we hear about black gay divorces? In this example, black gay men, black cis gay men divorces. We see all the pictures of them holding hands, the weddings, all of that other stuff. But when the divorces and stuff happen, the separations happen, we don't hear shit. We don't hear anything. I've seen a couple of them, and I've been to a couple of them. I think the reason why we don't hear about it a lot is because we, unfortunately, black gay men, feel as though we have to break the stereotype. We have to be the quote unquote perfect minority. Like, the images of black gayness, and we can't stay in a relationship where all of us are whores and all the other stuff. We feel like we have to be a representation for that. And we have to combat the idea that black gay men can't stay in a committed relationship. And with that being said, these couples are also rewarded with social capital online. So it is very hard for them to disconnect from it, because when you are getting praise and stuff, and people are putting you the same way we did with Jada and Will, oh, y'all the perfect black family, the perfect, black gay family, y'all got y'all 2 biracial kids. It's beneficial for these black gay couples to play into that, because they're rewarded with deals and all this other stuff. And it's no shade, it's no shade. So if things are going bad, their immediate thing is like, girl, we're gonna have to tell everybody that this ain't real. Like, we're gonna be shamed and we're also gonna lose deals. I see it all the time. Like, that is one of the things that is discussed. Like, all of this stuff we have to, you know, reveal. And the things that we're going to lose. And a lot of the folks are not interested in doing that. They are not interested in doing that at all. They want to continuously get their social capital from that. And it makes them not want to do it. And when they do it, it's in complete silence. Girl, woo! Which is why my single life, because girl, do not. And I think if I was to ever get into a relationship again, I highly doubt that it would be public in the same way that my last one was. I just do not want to be the perfect anything, especially with this following. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to have to feel like that I have to keep a relationship going because I don't want to be feeling embarrassed or something. So just discussing not only how that happens with cis hetero couples, but also with black gay couples, black queer couples as well. I hope y'all have enjoyed this discussion. I have enjoyed talking about it. Let me know what you think about the discussion in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.